dropping. Feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 4D, 4D. It's different. Yeah, that's winning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. You've got Murph, you've got Andrew Wood, the Catalyst, and you've got the Area 51 IndyCar Series live here on P1. It is round number 5 of the 2026 season campaign, and we are here from the Kentucky Speedway. And Andrew, we saw a barn burner at Michigan last week. We've got green walls at Kentucky this week. What are your thoughts on this joint? It's an interesting place.
Yeah, Mark, it's definitely one of those 1.5 mile ovals that does mimic a lot of those other 1.5 mile ovals that we come to very often here in the Area 51 series. But we're about to watch qualifying here, and one thing that I have not come to grips with yet in the qualifying session is how to measure that hybrid system. We haven't really talked about it too much this season yet, but what are these guys really going for in terms of regen and hybrid during their qualifying run? And does it really make a big difference when we're measuring how fast we want to go for 2 laps around this track?
So I've been in qualifying here with a hybrid. We did it for the Indy Derby. I don't know if you deployed yours or not, but it seems as though you've really got 2 choices. I chose to use it to climb out of the corners. So I hit it a little bit coming down the back, and I hit it a little bit coming to get the checkers on my hot laps. But really, there's 2 schools. Empty the tank on the back straightaway, or 3 schools. Empty the tank on the back, empty the tank on the front, or kind of use it in a squirt to get yourself off the corners. Any one of those 3 ways can be valid, and it just kind of depends on how you want to do it, Andrew. Speaking of how you want to do it, we've got points. Ryan Kelly is your points leader, 4 races in, 153. He's got Kyle Clinworth right on his heels at 151. Craig Forsyth, 130 points, is in third. And the story on Forsyth tonight is that Craig Forsyth is racing at a disadvantage. He is out of town. He's on an unfamiliar machine. He is not using his familiar wheel and pedals, and that's going to be an interesting situation for him.
I have definitely heard of some drivers doing this in the past if they're traveling or doing something a little bit out of their normal habitat, and they're saying, hey, I don't want to miss a race. I want to make sure that I'm there for my drivers. As we know, Craig is an admin of the series, so he wants to try his best to make sure he's at every race possible and kind of calling the shots. A lot of these guys rely on his dulcet tones to get through the start, middle, and end of the race, just kind of being a policeman of sorts in one aspect, but also helping out if there's any admin stuff going on. So really great to see Craig show his face and take time out of his vacation to do so. But yeah, I think actually there was a driver, a friend of mine, that was in some sort of championship race about 6-7 years ago, 6-7, and he had reached out to me and said, hey, I'm going to be around your area. Am I able to come use your rig? And I said, well, you can go for it. It's a very discount kind of thing, but if you want to try and race for your championship, I just got to show up and basically show up and finish the race, and I'll win the thing. So it definitely is not something that I'd be comfortable with. I'd much rather say, hey, I'm on vacation, I'm going to go enjoy my time. But if you're really that dedicated to your series, that's what you do. You find a way to show up and race. So good on Craig again.
Absolutely. You were just watching the qualifying run for Richie Hearn. Richie Hearn goes to 7th quick, 216.424 miles an hour. Do want to just give everybody a little bit of insight as to the track history here. The Indy Racing League and IndyCar have been to this place basically since its inception. IndyCar was the launch customer of the Kentucky Motor Speedway, or the Kentucky Speedway, when it was built. The track record here was set way back, Andrew, in 2002. The Belterra Casino Indy 300, Thomas Scheckter, in an IROO 24.0967 seconds. That's almost a full second quicker than what the modern cars do. Those early Indy Racing League machines, especially the 4-liter normally aspirated cars, those cars were rockets on the mile-and-a-half circuits.
Thomas Scheckter was definitely one of those lightning drivers. You always saw him jump to the outside on those restarts and pass a bunch of cars, and had a lot of bravery to him. So I definitely miss Thomas Scheckter. I wish we had that these days. We do have Connor Daly, who likes to do the same kind of move on these restarts and pick up a bunch of spots for drivers that are trying to be a little bit more conservative. So I'm not surprised that Scheckter holds a track record here, and that is definitely lightning fast and nowhere even close to what these drivers did tonight.
Yeah, he is a very, very rapid guy. I do want to welcome everybody who is tuning in from the Indy Next broadcast that just ended. Thank you so much for sticking around here on P1 for the tail end of the triple header. We've got a starting grid, Andrew, on the pole. It is the pole sitter, Ryan Kelly, 211.755 miles an hour. Matty Wagner is going to be to his outside. Larry Yingling and Chris Stouffer going to be on row 2. Stouffer was complaining earlier, Wood. He said he didn't like his place. He's going to start on the outside of the second row. A.J. Hobson, Gary Lovern, 5th and 6th. Nicholas Stockner, Sam Cosner will go from 7th and 8th. Shane Coker and Wayne Campbell will start 9th and 10th. In 11th, it's Eric Peterson, followed by Jeff Heisong, Richie Hearn, Frank Irwin Jr., and Jim Herrick will start from 15th. 16th, Charles Teed, then Brian Greenlee. Kyle Clinworth, I don't know if he messed up the qualifying run or if that was intentional. Maybe he ran out of time. 1:99.250 is his qualifying lap, and he will be the final car to take time here. Mason Mitchum will go from 19th, and Craig Forsyth from 20th. These cars did not take time on the grid. Joseph Morales, Guile Brooks, Kurt Rose, Bill Burrell, and Bill Colley are your starters here tonight. 25 cars signed in, Andrew.
I do find it interesting that so far we've raced on these very high-speed ovals. We've had, what is it? I believe this is our 3rd mile-and-a-half oval of the season. We raced at Homestead. We raced at Atlanta. We raced at now Kentucky. This is our 3rd mile-and-a-half. We had Michigan, the big 2-mile oval, and then Phoenix was our short oval of the season, which, based on how it's been repaved, can kind of be considered a high-speed oval. So we haven't really seen these guys hit the brakes too much, which, going back to our hybrid discussion, really does actually give a little bit better chance for you to regenerate without actually hitting a button on the steering wheel. So these guys are getting used to these kind of high-speed ovals and really have to use strategy to try and deploy that hybrid and get the most speed they can out of the car. So I think it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think we're going to see some really good action here, as we've seen in the previous 4 races as well.
Now, there will be the opportunity to reach in here. Turns 3 and 4, they're a little bit wider, they're a little bit flatter. It's not as severe as it is at the Texas Motor Speedway, but there is the opportunity to regen the hybrid without doing so manually. And so this is not exactly the same flat-out kind of a run that you would see at, say, Michigan or a place like that where it's, you've got to manually regen. There is going to be some natural regeneration here with the hybrid. The field is well back of the pace car, Andrew, and I'm wondering, we've seen that in several instances this year in Area 51. I'm wondering if that's a situation where they're coaching the drivers to do that. Ryan Kelly has the field under control. Matty Wagner Beside him, Yingling and Stouffer, row number 2, followed by Hobson, Lovren, Stockner, Cosner, Coker, and Campbell. Barney's going to have the green flag in the air, and we are going to be racing here in the Area 51 IndyCar Series presented by 40 Racewear.
Yeah, very, very poor start from Gary Lovren there. Looks like there was a miscommunication of when exactly that outside was going, and I think it actually checked up that whole outside line, but I believe everybody's gotten through cleanly, just a little bit disjointed.
Everybody does get through cleanly on that first lap. Jeff Heisong and Charles Teed both get the black flag. I would suspect, that they're going to be cleared of those black flags here momentarily. Meanwhile, Ryan Kelly has streaked away to a bit of an advantage over Larry Yingling, who has worked to the bottom. Matty Wagner, give Yingling second. Wagner is going to go back to third.
Yeah, we're seeing that the leader has just gotten his lead now, and I don't think that it's very, very easy to get a good pass going here until we get to see a little bit more tire wear going on. But it's possible that Ryan might just kind of race a normal line. It does look like he's taking the middle line and being a little bit more defensive going into turn 3, but that's just going to stack up everybody else behind him. And what we always see on these mile-and-a-half ovals is that you're looking for the cleanest air possible.
You are indeed looking for the cleanest air possible, and it's really hard here because this track is like Texas. It is notorious for eating tires, and Andrew, it is hot here tonight in Kentucky. The weather, the admins have said 84 degrees in the air, 129 degrees on the track. It is a scorcher, and those Firestones are going to be begging for mercy. Likely within 10 to 15 laps, what I would imagine. So there's going to be a huge advantage to being up front. Larry Yingling wants that advantage, and he goes the lead over Ryan Kelly. And Matt Wagner, he would love to follow suit.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about these hot temperatures, the turn 4 wall is one of those walls similar to Charlotte that kind of pops out at you. So if you get these hot temperatures and you're really stuck in that aero wash, it does make it very, very difficult to hang on to that car, and you feel like you're going to make the corner and you just kind of click it a little bit. Not click it, tap it a little bit. Excuse my euphemism there, but yeah, it does get very, very difficult, especially as the tires wear, to get yourself around turn 4, because it does have a bit of a misleading last little bit to it. So I think we're going to see some of these drivers have some difficulty there.
It does. Let's ride on board Chris Stouffer. He is currently 5th. He started 4th. Stouffer is hunting that clean air, and we saw him up against the wall earlier. Did you hear that big lift, Andrew? Down to 185 miles an hour, 4th gear through turn 4. That is the preferred method here. It is so tempting to get up against that wall and let it rip. But you can toast the tires on your car in about a lap.
Yeah, you were mentioning before how turn 3 and 4 has a little bit more of a flatter profile to it, so it does make it difficult to keep those right side tires very much underneath you in order to make that corner. So you're going to see a lot more lifting as the stint goes on. I imagine that since we're talking about the hybrid and everything, the regeneration of the hybrid possibly could come into play, like you were mentioning during the qualifying run. That turn 3 and 4 area is probably the best place to really slow the car down in an artificial way to do so.
It is. We're going to take a look at Kyle Clinworth. He has made up 6 spots, started 18th, currently 12th in the run. Clindy is moving forward. He's got Sam Cosner ahead of him. Cosner is painted similarly. It is worth noting that they are not teammates. It's a sponsorship deal on Clinworth's car. Cosner is a member of the Voted Racing League machine. But look at how Clinworth floats that car down into turn 4 and is way out of the gas, Andrew, saving those tires. We were kind of talking about it, Craig Forsyth and I, before the race started. You're trading speed early so you have speed late here.
It is such a hard thing to do. You have to have so much discipline for it. And if you have the right amount of discipline, you could be flying towards the end of the stint compared to everyone around you. And when I say flying, it's not like you're passing cars like an AI sort of situation. You're really just putting yourself in a much better tire life advantage, and tires really do mean everything, as we were talking about with the hot temperatures especially. Once those tires go, it's very, very difficult to get them back. Well, you can't get them back really at all. It's all a matter of just keeping the car underneath you, and it gets very, very difficult to even turn the car, and you'll hemorrhage more spots than gain.
You will indeed. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We do have a heck of a good crowd here. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, and if you're in the market, go visit 40racewear.com. Hats, shoes, gloves, all your sim racing apparel needs. 40racewear.com. Jim Herrick will get you covered right on up. I've got the shoes and the gloves. I know Andrew has a pair as well. They are top quality sim racing gear. Check them out. We were watching Matty Wagner and Larry Yingling battle for the lead. Wags has taken a couple of shots at it here. He lost a lot of momentum, and now he's going to be under fire from Ryan Kelly in third. It's worth mentioning it's 75% fuel in Area 51 here, Andrew. You get one fast repair. That fuel window would work out to be 37 to 45 laps, depending on how cautious you are, and you're going to want to make it as long as you can, because according to my Ball State math, you can do this on 2 green flag stops if need be, but you're going to have to stretch the amount of shell fuel in the tank.
Yes, Murph, and that really does mean that we're going to try and predict that we're not going to have any cautions this race, right? We haven't really gone caution-free yet this season, so it might be a good idea to try and take the risk to do the two-stopper. Of course, when you stay out as long as you possibly can, you possibly trap some drivers one lap down, but there is a high likelihood that we'll see a caution during this race, so that really would throw a lot of the calcs out the window, but you can't plan for that either. You have to do the best you can to maximize it as if there are no cautions enabled on the sim. So one thing I do want to point out here in terms of how these drivers move, and Christopher is committed to that high side, and that's going to be our first indication if these tires really do go off. It'll be from Christopher, who is completely rim riding around both sides of the circuit right now.
He most certainly is, and we were looking at him from the P1 airship. He's way up high in turns 1 and 2. Now that doesn't hurt you to do that. You can most certainly go the top side in 1 and 2, but he's also way the heck up there in turns 3 and 4, and he's under fire from A.J. Hobson. Let's jump on board last week's winner, A.J. Hobson, as he motors along in 5th. They've got Nicholas Stockner behind him, but you're right. Stouffer's up. Old Stouffer's up there, and he's up there in Harry Gant land.
Come very, very close to tapping that wall a couple times there, but A.J. Hobson is catching up to him, and I think taking that inside line with that little bit of lift is preserving Hobson's tires quite a bit there. So we'll have to see if that eventually plays out. Meanwhile, we got Larry Yingling that's starting to walk away a little bit, and I'm a little concerned about Ryan Kelly. He seemed to have a little bit of a good strategy going for the first few laps of this race, but he's managed to fall back now, and he can't seem to get those spots back, but perhaps there's a little tire preservation going on from Ryan Kelly's point of view, and he perhaps could actually get those spots back if those guys ahead of him are not preserving those tires quite as well.
Absolutely. Remember this number: 188 miles an hour was the bottom speed for A.J. Hobson on the bottom. Just about the same for Christopher. Maybe a little bit less along the top. I would surmise that if that's the case, Christopher has already worn quite a bit of the good off of the Firestones, and he's up there hunting clean air, which it'll make the car handle better, but you have to run it so much harder when you're on that high side. And Hobson is going to look low one more time, and I think AJ might have the measure of Christopher. Here getting down the front. Stouffer's going to fight back on the high side, Andrew. But he's not going to clear him going through 1 and 2. So Hobson's going to have the advantage again when we get to turns 3 and 4 one more time. Now Stouffer does clear him coming out of turn number 2.
Meanwhile, Clendy has now moved into the top 10. He's gotten by Richie Hearn last lap and exiting turn 2 there. And he's going to keep moving his way forward. His next target will be Peterson and Gary Lovern. Gary Lovern actually is making a move on Peterson right now. I believe Peterson was a big climber early on in this race as well, but perhaps he was using quite a bit of his tires as well. So Gary picks up P8, and we'll see if Peterson drops another spot from P9 to P10 once Clendy gets up there.
Yeah, Peterson had started 11th. He moved all the way up to 7th, the position now occupied by Gary. He had moved up to 8th, and now he's 9th. He had moved up to 7th. Now he's 9th, and he's fallen backwards. And you're right, he is going to be next up on the Kyle Clinworth hit parade. And there you see off the back of Eric Peterson.
Oh, in contact, turn 3. Stockner and Coker got together actually a couple times there.
And there's Nicholas Stockner, and his car has no front suspension. Stockner just trying to get it off the racing surface. There he is. He's going to spin it harmlessly into the grass, and he will tow. And with that, we're going to go back and see if we can find out what happened between Nicholas Stockner and Shane Coker. There's Stockner on the bottom. Coker in the green Votive Racing League machine is on the top. Going down the back. Now, the action is going to happen in turn 3. Coker pops out to make a move, and we get a little bit of wheel banging going into turn number 3. Stockner loses the car. Left front is broken before he gets to the wall, and now the right front and right rear are broken too. Good job from Nicholas Stockner. Great move from him to get that car off the racing surface and not cause the yellow flag.
Yeah, Murph, we had Gary Lovern and I believe Peterson was trying to get back at him. We had 2 sets of 2 cars going into turn 3 there, and I think that's just I've seen this several times now in these races where the driver on the outside comes down just a little bit too early. That was the initial contact, and I thought they had gotten out of it, but then they reconnected one more time, as we saw on the replay there. So, unfortunate for Stockner, got the worst of it. Coker continues on. Doesn't seem like he has that much damage right now, so he continues on P6. Gary Lovern's right behind him, P7, but Clendy is coming in P8. He's gotten by Eric Peterson.
Yes, he has. Kyle Clinworth is about 0.6 of a second off the back of Gary Lovern. Lovern is reeling in Shane Coker. Lovern has been a couple of tenths of a second quicker a lap than Coker, and let's jump on board with Gary Lovern in the Votive Racing League machine. Now, these are 2 teammates as they head down, and Gary Lovern is running that low line, saving the tires, very gentle on the throttle, and it's starting to pay off for him. Gary Lovern, the last time through, was the fastest car in the top 10. Gary Lovern right now, the fastest car in the top 10. Now, he's only got about 8 laps, or 7 or 8 laps until the fuel tank is potentially dry, but Gary Lovern is coming, Andrew.
Talking about who else is coming, we got Ryan Kelly that has now moved up to P2, and he is stalking Larry Yingling. He's managed to close that gap quite a bit. So you're mentioning Gary was the fastest car in the top 10. Ryan Kelly must not be too far behind, as he potentially could take this lead back if he has managed to keep his tires fresh, which is what our speculation was early on in the race when he dropped down a couple spots.
Yeah, there he is. That's what you'd see if you were Ryan Kelly and you had your left eye closed as he hunts down Larry Yingling. The delta last time was just about 0.5 of a second. Ryan Kelly sniffs the draft, and he is 100% the quicker of these 2 machines. And for Larry Yingling, he's just trying to figure out which line do I block, which way do I go to dirty up the air. He chose the middle that time, and he lost another 1/10 and a half.
We see that Eric Peterson has taken his first pit stop. He's come down pit lane a little bit early compared to other cars, but he's done it away, and he's rejoining the fight with some fresh tires. So we'll have to keep a watch on his lap times as well to see how much ground he possibly could make up with an early stop. He'll pay for it later, but for now, it might be a strategy that no one else is going for, so why not go for it?
Well, we're going to keep an eye on his lap times because he's going to be the canary in the coal mine. Gary Lovern has now caught Shane Coker, and they have caught Chris Stouffer, and Clindy has caught them. So we're about to have a four-way battle for fifth here within the next few laps. If you're Eric Peterson and you know you can't save the fuel, why the heck not come on, strap 4 tires on, and just run it as a 3-stopper? Charles Teed has done exactly the same. And as they come out, it's going to be worth noting their lap times. You see that's Teed there on the bottom in the familiar Robbie Gordon liveried car.
Man, Murph, how much Chris Stouffer has fallen off this pack? We were talking about those tires, and look how far ahead the 3 leaders are. And he's sitting back here crossing start-finish, watching them all drive away. He cannot wait to pit.
Larry Yingling has dropped on the pit lane, by the way. Yingling is in the pits. Eric Peterson, last time through, 25.849. Ryan Kelly, the leader, 26.536. So 0.7 of a second is the difference on those new tires. The problem for Peterson and Teed is you lose a lap and a half when you pit under green. So they need this thing to cycle all the way through. You're riding on the lipstick camera, the Bobby Rahal cam for Gary Lovern, as he and Shane Coker have both gone through Chris Stouffer, and Stouffer is going to be passed by Kyle Clinworth on the high side, and Stouffer has had enough. Chris is coming to the pits.
It's getting a little bit crazy down here. We're going to start having a mix and match of cars with fresh tires and cars with old tires, and this is the time where drivers at a pit said, hey, let's not get into it, everyone. Let's keep our noses pointed straight and not spin, hit the wall, and bring out a possible caution that would really throw everyone's strategy out the window. So this group of 5 cars that are up here, for example, entering the pit lane, just stay on the bottom and do the best you can to get out of everyone's way. We got Coker coming in. We got Kelly coming in. We got Wagner coming in. This is it's going to be very, very busy down pit road now.
It is indeed. Now, it's worth noting that Teed and Peterson, they hit their number for a 3-stopper. To make it a 2-stop, you need 1 stint of 44 and 2 of 43. Clindy has now gone through Gary Lovern, and with that, and pit stops, of course, from Ryan Kelly, who has just hit the pit lane as well, Clindy is now your leader, with Wayne Campbell second, Gary Lovern third, Mason Mitchum fourth. Remember, if you're going to do it, you're going to need 2 stints of 43 and 1 of 44. Clindy is going to come through and make his 42nd lap right now.
Well, I was scared that Wayne Campbell was going to miss his pit entry there, but he manages to get down on the lane safely without running into, I think that was Mitchum that was coming in with him. No, it was Gary Lovern that was coming in with him. So, yeah, that very, very close call there on pit entry, and that's all it could take to really throw the fuel-safe strategy out the window. But like you mentioned, Kyle Clemworth, someone who you were seeing come through the field, someone who really went slow to go fast, basically, is the best way to put it. He is continuing his march here to make this a 2-stop race, and if there's anybody that does not want a caution right now, it's Clemworth, as well as Mason Mitchum, Sam Cosner, Kyle Brooks. All these drivers that haven't pit yet are looking to do this only on 2 stops.
Well, I don't think they'd mind a caution right now. They would essentially get a free pit stop and come out as the leaders. But they've all of those cars have done a bang-up job. Sam Cosner has now hit the pit lane, as has Kyle Brooks. Mason Mitchum and Kyle Clinworth are the only 2 left on this strategy. Clindy has made it the 44 laps. Is he going to go for another? He is going to stay out. So this is huge for Clinworth and Mitchum staying out here, Andrew. The longer they can go, the harder they can go at the end of this race, the longer they stretch this one.
I think both of them have called their pits in, so they're going to make it to 44 and come in.
There we go. We're going to watch Kyle Clinworth as he maneuvers into his pit box, and you can see it. He is those tires are hurting, and Clindy slides the car. Yeah, he slid the car. He might have been a little hot on pit entry, but he does not speed. He does get it down to the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, but that was awfully close for Kyle Clinworth, and that's going to hand the lead when it's all said and done back on over to Larry Yingling. Now, it's going to be interesting to see where Clindy and Mitchum come out, because the whole time they were doing that, they've been losing about a second a lap.
Yeah, Murph, if you remember, Clemworth had a very similar pit entry snafu at Homestead that actually ruined his entire race, where he took the whole front end off the car.
Yes, he did.
I believe it ruined his race in the moment. He came back to actually win the thing. So that was that was something to be remarkable about. But yeah, it just shows how hard it is to pit on these very, very old tires. And if you don't have your battery deployed, all these little things that you could probably describe a little bit better, the way of the car is shifting around. So when you're hitting the brakes, very, very easy to lose the back of the car.
It most certainly is. Clindy and, Clinworth lost. The difference in that was 15 seconds. So he's gone essentially half a lap down by virtue of staying out. Larry Yingling was the short pitter of the group at the front, and he's got a 1.1 second advantage over Ryan Kelly, and there's Kelly. He runs in second. Matty Wagner is in third position. There he is. A.J. Hobson is 3 seconds and change behind Wagner in fourth, and Eric Peterson, who was the initial stopper, this is his high point of the race. He is fifth, and so it's worked to cycle Peterson forward in the order, but he's going to have to make an extra pit stop. Everybody up here is going to have to make an extra pit stop. Christopher is now sixth in the 40 race wear machine. Wayne Campbell is seventh, and there's Wayne, and he's got a boatload of trouble in the form of Gary Lovern and Shane Coker, the two Votive Racing League entries right there in eighth and ninth behind him. Jeff Heisong is also involved in that battle. He is 10th. Richie Hearn is 11th, and they are 3 wide between Clinworth, Cosner, and Herrick for 12th, and Jim Herrick goes up and slaps the wall a little bit. But there they are. Now, talk to me, Andrew. Tell me about ways that you can manage. Tell me about ways that you can manage the fuel here, and how that might help you save tires too.
Yes, well, of course, Murphy, you have to keep your fuel mix in mind. So it's going to be best for you to run in a lower fuel mix or higher fuel mix, lower mixture setting. It may keep your lap times pretty slow, but as long as you're not spinning those rear tires and putting a lot of wear and a lot of motion on those outside tires as you're turning, you will preserve those tires quite a bit. So it's definitely a balancing act, because you want to go as fast as you can. It always kind of sucks to be a driver and say, I have to drive slower to be faster, right? So I think what we saw from Clemworth, for example, he fell back a little bit, probably put it in a higher fuel mix, lower mixture, in order to perhaps give up a couple of spots there to preserve his tire life. And then we saw that all that did was, in the middle of the stint, he was able to move his way forward. So I don't think anybody in this race, unless you're really, really trying to get your way forward early and make that your strategy, is running it in a full rich setting. So I think that the best way on these ovals, on these 1.5 mile ovals, where you're really much flat out the whole way and putting a lot of strain on the tires, is to run a lower mixture setting.
Well, and let's kind of talk about what my good friend the Catalyst Andrew Wood is talking about. Look at we're on board with Ryan Kelly. The steering wheels with the new scan of the IndyCar were updated. It is the steering wheel from, and Larry Yingling gets really loose. We've got a caution on the speedway. Caution is out. Charles Teed has disconnected, and Nicholas Stockner has the meatball. So here's Stockner. He's running along. He's already a lap down here. That's Matt Wagner behind him. He's already gone a lap down to Larry Yingling. He's going to go down into turn 3. This is going to be a single car, and Andrew Wood, apron bad.
That is a very traditional traditional Kentucky moment. I had that exact same moment during the Derby, Murph. I was trying my best to grab a little bit more right at the end of the race to get by someone. I touched that apron, and unfortunately, I saved the car, but I did lose a spot coming to the line. So very, very easy to do. Like we were mentioning, that profile of that corner is very flat, so you want to really take a big bite out of it if you can to get down on as close as you can to that apron to maximize your corner exit and straighten the wheel out as much as you can. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It happens to everyone. So sad. Nicholas Stockner's had a very unlucky start to the season here. So hopefully continues his growth of getting acclimated to all the new stuff with this car and come back next race and hopefully runs up at the front.
He has. Now, we're going to see everybody come to the pit lane, lap 56 of 130. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in to P1 as the field races off the pit lane. We invite you to stay tuned for this quick message from our friends at 40 Racewear, and we will rejoin the action with the green flag.
Strap in, feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 4D, 4D. It's different. Yeah. That's winning. Grit in my voice, baseline under my breath. Glove print stamped on the wheel like a crest. I don't just play, I live it. Every stitch says, get it. From the couch to the checkered, I'm the storm when I wear it. 4D in my.
And we do want to thank everybody for sticking with us. You are watching the Area 51 IndyCar Series here on P1. It is round 5 of the 2026 campaign. Larry Yingling is your leader. Ryan Kelly is second. And we are getting ready to go right back to the green flag. You see Barney down there next to the scoring pylon. He's got the green. He's going to have the green flag in his hand. The pace car is all the way up in turn 3, and the field, and this has to be a new thing for this year, Andrew, the field is some, I don't know, 200 or 300 yards behind the pace car.
I believe that the aim here is to let the pace car get away and have a lot better opportunity and cleaner time for drivers to get themselves underway, make sure all the gaps are set early so no one's really chasing and catching up at the last second, because we had a lot of these accordion startups. So this is kind of a new thing, a little bit unconventional for leagues that we see in the IRA team, but I kind of like it. Actually, they're still kind of rolling pretty slow, but Larry Yingling is not really one of our typical leaders, so it probably takes a little bit of practice here, but we're underway. And I think the new strategy is working because we have not seen any of these big checkups on these restarts so far this season. Knock on wood. Well, knock on myself, basically. So very nice job there by the admins to implement this.
Yeah, it is. Everybody clean and green through turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch of the field, already working through turns 3 and 4. Do want to thank everybody for tuning us in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video. Ring the bell so you can subscribe to P1 and get a message every time we do this. And we do it an awfully lot. Tomorrow night, curiously, Andrew, we are off. Both Horizon and the Formula... I can't talk. Both
Formula
FIS... Well, it's the Formula Super Series right now. They're doing Super Formula cars. But right now... But both those series are off. Next race on P1 after tonight is going to be the Outland Custom Arms... Grand National Series from Atlanta. That's going to be 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. Friday we'll have the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That's going to be live at 8:20, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. Saturday we're still off, but the iRacing IndyCar Series is about to start. Now, what are you going to run that on Saturday afternoons?
Sure.
I think you.
I'll show up.
I think what we need to do is you and I ought to run them and see who can finish highest in points. I think that should be I think it should be an intramural battle between the Area 51 broadcasters, right? A little power slide versus IAR action. I think that'd be good. Our viewers might enjoy that.
Yeah, that could be an interesting way to put some onboard cameras on and really go at it. I kind of like that idea. We'll talk about that off camera a little bit.
I think we should. Sunday nights you've got alternating schedules between the Votive Racing League and the Dark Horse TW12 Series. This week it is the Votive Racing League, and they are at Michigan. That's 8 o'clock, and that'll bring you to the Monday night. And the iRacing IndyCar Open Series, that goes off at 7, followed by the Indy Next Road Series at 9 o'clock. And then the triple header is back next week, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. It is the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series. That's going to happen at 7:15, 8:30 for the Indy Next Series Oval Top Split. And this series is going to be at Nashville next week, 9:30, right back here on P1. How about that? We go to Nashville.
Nashville sounds like a great time. I haven't seen these cars race there yet, but we'll have to see how the setup is there. But I tell you what, Murph, I'm watching AJ Hobson's is flying right now. He restarted, I believe, in P6, made his way by Chris Stouffer, who's still planted on that high side as best as he can. Made his way by Ryan Kelly as well, and he is going his way to the front really fast. Chris Stouffer has learned nothing from his burned up tires from that first stint running up on the high side as well. You see, he is so committed up there. He is trying not to jump that cushion of rubber up there and really putting a beating on those tires. But we saw that Larry Yingling was able to hang on to the lead quite a bit. Matt Wagner did get that spot back eventually. The biggest loser in that caution period has to have been Kyle Clemworth, who was committed to that two-stop strategy. He had a lot of ground to make up. He was on the freshest tire, so he would have been coming forth very, very quickly, but the caution ruined everything, and now he has to make hay when the sun is shining. He has managed to find his way back up well into the top 10 again. So we're watching him move now, and maybe the tire saving is kind of out the door now that the fuel strategy is also out the door.
Yeah, it is exactly one more stop from when they stopped last. Green flag, or they stopped at 56. 37 from 56 is 93. 37 from 93 is 130. That is the race distance. So it is just one more stop to get home from here, and we will only see them on pit lane the one more time. We're only going to see them on pit lane one more time unless there's a caution flag, knock on wood, and I'm going to knock on the wood floor. Not on Andrew Wood. I like Andrew Wood. I don't want to knock him. But Clindy is stalking Eric Peterson, and let's jump on board with him. And I'm going to kind of talk about what you were talking about earlier, because this is a good chance to do it. I'm going to kind of talk about what he sees on the steering wheel, because it is the scan of Pato O'Ward's McLaren steering wheel, is what they gave us in the sim. They scanned the McLaren IR18 in its latest form when they did the hybrid. So for Clindy, the fuel map that Andrew Wood was talking about, well, you're not going to see the lights to the left and right of the rev counter at the top. And that is going to display the yellow when the yellow flag is out. It also displays when you are deploying to the driver's information as we are spectating. That so other drivers can't look in and have spotters and teammates say, hey, this guy's running such and such and such and such, right? So we don't get that information. The lights on the dash are the state of charge of the hybrid. When they're all the way closest to the middle, it's fully charged. When they're completely unlit, they are empty. You just watched Kyle Clinworth drive to the bottom of Eric Peterson. Peterson is going to fight back on that outside. And, buddy, they are close. But Clindy is going to clear him. Map is the fuel map. Those go 1 through 8. 1 is full blast. 8 is caution. On an oval, you'll generally run 1 through 5, 5 being full lean. Map 6 and 7 are throttle shapes. They're full rich, but they're throttle shapes, mostly used for road courses and short ovals. If you want to save gas, that number goes higher. If you want to go fast, that number goes lower. Region is your deployment strategy. It's a fixed setup series, so you can't change that. So that's always going to breed number 1. Anti-roll bar settings, rear to the left, front to the right, are below region, and then his weight jacker and brake bias are below that. The 73 is number of laps completed. He's also got an interval, his last lap time on there. He can tell how much overtake he's got on an oval. That doesn't apply. His fuel status, how many miles to the gallon he's getting. And then the bottom right is important here. That gives you your tire temperatures. And so they're actually color-coded, Andrew. I find that helpful. Blue is cool. Clear is operating temp. Yellow is they're getting hot. And red means they are mad.
Don't want it to be mad.
No. I thought you'd appreciate that. Clear is good. Yellow is they're getting hot. Red is mad. So that's what the steering wheel looks like for these drivers, and that is what they're looking at. While we were doing that, we did have a change for the lead. Matty Wagner has gone past Larry Yingling, and Yingling is fighting back to the outside. AJ Hobson has the ringside seat. Hobson is in third.
I tell you what, Murph, Peterson just had an insane save in turn 3 and 4 last lap. He really tried to send it in on Stouffer. Got the apron very similar to what Stockner did, but he wiggled and wiggled and wiggled, and then somehow that car got going straight again. So very, very close to having another caution there. But Peterson had to lift out of it and lost a couple spots because of it, but he is still pointing straight.
Yeah, let's see if we can go back. You are going to see something. You're going to see something here. Watch this, fans. We're going to get on board with Eric Peterson. Watch the hands. You think these guys don't have some talent? He throws it under Stouffer. There he goes on the apron. Watch the hands. That is a veteran driver right there.
Yeah, and I bet he needs a new pair of underwear as well there, Murph. So he's able to keep it going, and that's all that matters here. And yeah, you lose a couple spots, and now you got to fight a lot more dirty air. But he is still going straight, still in the fight, sitting P12 right now, and let's see if he can get a couple of those spots back.
He's still living, right? Livin. He's living. Matty Wagner, Larry Yingling, still going hammer and tong. But I've been really impressed by AJ Hobson. He got his breakthrough win, did Hobson last week at Michigan, or last race at Michigan, and he is right back up at the front and in the hunt in this one, Andrew.
Yes, he definitely is. He got shot out of a cannon on that restart, and like I said, he restarted, I believe, I think I saw P6 and got by those cars there, and he is shadowing those leaders right now, and he has enough pace in that car. All he's got to do is just keep finding that clean air. Keep the tires underneath him and make that last stop the money stop, and see if perhaps he can jump them. Now, we have to see if he's going to deploy the early stop strategy or try and stay out as long as he possibly can. I imagine that he probably burned up those tires quite a bit trying to get those few spots there, so he may not have the tire life come the end of the stint, but if he's able to get the clean air and the drivers ahead of him come in, then that kind of negates that tire loss a little bit.
You know, it does. Now, I don't think you're going to see a lot of strategy. I think you're going to see drivers see lap 92 hit, and they're going to pull it on the pit lane. We've got a yellow light, yellow flag is on the circuit, and that's going to be for Jim Herrick. He has parked his 40 Racewear machine at the entrance to pit road. Caution is on the speedway at lap 83, And now it's a fuel mileage race again, Andrew.
Just how quickly things change there. We we thought we had a one stopper, full send right in the bag there, but man, what a ride Jim Herrick took there through the front straightaway. I'm sure we'll take a look at it here, but no one else really managed to get collected in it. So, and I think all that Herrick got was a broken front wing. So he's going to get a new front wing on that, and he's going to be right back in the fight again.
Well, he tapped the outside wall pretty good, and that's what shot him across the road in front of Gael Brooks. We're going to go back and watch this from our onboard Gael Brooks, the number 71 machine, and you see Jim Herrick up there, and he's up, and watch. He's going to touch it, and watch what Gael Brooks sees.
Just a quick lane change. That's all that is.
You can't cut it any closer than that and not get damaged. So Gael is going to get away with that one. He continues on 16th and on the lead lap, I might add. Jim Herrick is also going to maintain his position on the lead lap, but you see the damage on the 40 Raceware machine. Now, do you elect, if you're Herrick, to do your fast repair here, or do you chance it and say there's no suspension damage? I'm just going to take a regular pit stop and hope it's just the wing.
Well, I would imagine that if everyone's going to be fuel saving from here and there's no more pit stops, then this might be the only opportunity to finish this race off without another pit stop. So I think I'll risk it and take the fast repair here. We've gone over half the race. No incidents, probably no incidents going forward. Jim probably learned a lesson here of where that turn 4 wall is and won't get close to it again. So I would take the fast repair here, Murph.
Survey says Jim Herrick took the fast repair, so that is his one shot at it. Kurt Rose and Joseph Morales both stayed out. It is going to be my guess that both of those drivers, as Kurt Rose does his best Harry Hogue to follow the instructions of Harry Hogg. He hits the pace car. Do want to send along our condolences to the family of Robert Duvall. The iconic actor passed away on Sunday. Of course, well known for many things he played, but one of those roles was his interpretation of Harry Hyde, the great NASCAR crew chief, in the film Days of Thunder, and that's one of his iconic lines, hit the pace car. Kurt Rose most certainly did. He'll pull onto the pit lane with Joseph Morales, and that's going to leave Matt Wagner in the lead here.
That's a fun little livery that Kurt Rose has in that car, actually. I like that yellow and blue contrast that he has there. Almost kind of reminds you of the Hiro Matsushita car from the 90s there, a little bit of that color scheme.
Yeah, so Matsushita was what, Panasonic? I believe he owns Panasonic, right?
Yes, correct.
Along with the Swift Swift racing car manufacturing company, among other things. But Matsushita very famously ran that yellow and blue. It kind of, for me, it almost looks more like the Blue Angels than it does the Panasonic livery. But
yeah, that's probably a better one. But that's what first popped in my head from an IndyCar livery perspective there. So pretty sure that the Blue Angels color schematic is probably what he was going for there.
I did not. You could have paid me a $20 bill, and I would have taken the bet that said we would not have a Hiro Matsushita reference this evening. Leave it to Andrew Wood to pull that one out. But I love it.
Some cars stick in my head, Murph. You know, that's how it goes.
Very good. Matty Wagner is doing the slow roll toward the start-finish line. Barney is going to have the green flag in hand. As a matter of fact, he's already got it out. We're going to hit the loud pedal one more time, and we're within Kyle Clinworth range of making it to the end here as we hit the green flag to get lap 87 of 130 at Kentucky.
And we have another clean start here from up and down the grid. So this new method that we were unaware of is definitely seeming to work out. Everyone's kind of waiting their turn for the car ahead of them to go. No one's really checking up. Everyone's in the right fuel mix, and the loud pedal was pushed, just as you said there, Murph. So we trudge on a little further, and we got fresh tires on these cars. Now the fuel saving is going to begin, and will anyone risk it and push it a little bit and say, hey, there may be one more caution. I could save a little fuel under the next caution and try and pick up a few of these spots here.
Question may have been answered for Larry Yingling, and question may have been answered for Hobson, Wagner, and Clinworth. Matt Wagner pulled over and let Larry Yingling and A.J. Hobson blow past him. Clinworth moved around Ryan Kelly and slammed on the brakes so as not to go by Matt Wagner. That leads me to believe that Yingling and Hobson are going to be the two that are willing to burn the fuel and stay out front. You are not going to make it 44 laps leading this race.
Well, not only that, but look how tightly packed everyone is right now. And that leads me to believe that there's not a lot of aero wash coming out of these cars. And you can always pick a fuel save race indication out just by seeing that there's not the half a second gap between all the cars. So a lot of these cars that are outside the top 10 are going to get very antsy very, very quickly. And if there are some cars that are mistakenly unsure if they're saving fuel or not, they could easily get swept up or tripped up in this pack here. So we have to also be careful of that.
We most certainly do. And here's my observation on that, Andrew, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I find this to be more dangerous than running flat out. You're trying to not pass the car in front of you. As Clindy has finally decided, okay, I don't think I can make it. I'm going to turn up the wick and go to lead. And how about Shane Coker? He wasn't saving at all. He never even started the save. Shane Coker has moved around everybody except for Wagner and Clindy. Shane Coker is going to go to second here around the high side. He's going to make a bid for the lead.
It's always better to be out front and do what you can to save the fuel from there. But you're right. I think Clemworth took the lead because he said, hey, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to make it. So we might see some of these cars start to spread out a little bit. But as long as these cars are staying tightly packed together, as we see, Murph, it's going to be a fuel save race. So as of now, there's a bunch of cars still sitting between like P4 and P11 or so that are saying, I'm still going for it. And they have enough cars ahead of them that they can check up easily and save quite a bit of fuel here.
Well, I mean, look, if you're Shane Coker, why the heck not? Right? You know, he's been a solid lower half of the top 10 car all day. Why not say, look, I'm probably not. He was not one of the cars that made it the 45 laps at the beginning. Why the heck not? Turn it up, go to the front, gamble on a caution. If there's we're 10 laps into the stint now. If a yellow flies, everybody's going to pit anyway, and then he's got the lead.
I think you got that clear, hit the nail right on the head there. So that's definitely another strategy that you can put into the mix, saying, hey, I'm going to go out here and be in the safest position, which is out in front, and everyone's going to pit anyway. They have the tires to do it, so why not just go out there and lead some laps, get some TV time, and go for it and see what happens. And as we see now, that top four, well, I guess the fifth place car as well, they're all starting to string out a little bit, so the fuel save is out the window.
Yeah, Mason Mitchum has moved up in the fifth spot. That is another one of those Votive Racing League machines. Is the light blue and orange car with the orange wheels, or bronze wheels. Mason Mitchum there, he is in fifth. Larry Yingling has fallen all the way back to sixth spot, and that tells me, Andrew, that he may be trying to make it. He is not defending these positions. Sam Cosner is going to go around the outside of him in the highlighter yellow Votive Racing League machine, and Ryan Kelly is also kind of in that same boat. Now these are two drivers that have some pretty doggone high I ratings. Larry Yingling, 6,300. That is the highest in the field. It's about 300 better than Kyle Clinworth. Ryan Kelly, 4,786. That's more my speed. But they're pretty. These are two veteran guys. They may be gambling on making it, which is odd, because
I'm not really sure if Yingling is trying to do a fuel save, but he might have just gotten completely lost in everyone picking up the speed, and he just was late to the party. So everyone got around him, and now that he's picked up the speed, now he's lost a lot of ground. So it's very, very difficult to get those spots back once you've already dropped back as far as Larry did. So it's possible that everyone just kind of picked up the pace around him, and now he's saying, "Oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Let me turn my fuel mix a little bit more rich." And next thing you know, you lost a few spots during that process.
Yeah, and how about this? Brian Greenlee, he's currently 10th. Greenlee started 17th, so he's up 7 spots from his starting position. That's another guy. Hey, he gained a ton on that restart just by being one of the first guys that said, hey, I'm not going to make it. Turn it up and go. Chris Stouffer is not going to be one of the guys that tries to make it. Stouffer is all the way up against the fence. That car is in map 1. Now, if you're Stouffer, what do? Do you wait as long as possible to pit, or do you say, hey, forget that mess. I'm going to run 30 laps. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go the last 20. I'm not even going to wait for the tires to fall off.
I think that's perfect. I think because Stouffer has taken that outside line for much of this race, he's going to be the first one to burn the tires up. We saw on the last long green flag stint, he restarted in 4th and fell all the way to 10th. So he is going for broke in terms of tire life right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stouffer is one of the first ones to pit, break the 2 stints in half, put new tires on, and perhaps he could pick up a few spots if some of these guys do fuel only.
Most certainly can. Let's reset the field for you. 28 laps to go. Shane Coker in the Votive Racing League entry is leading. Kyle Clinworth for Rogue Racing is second. Matt Wagner for Track Rocket runs along in third. Mason Mitchum, Votive Racing League, is fourth. And Sam Cosner is in fifth. AJ Hobson runs along sixth. He is an independent. He's racing with the Dark Horse guys. He sees, as he has for much of his day, the 40 Racewear car of Chris Stouffer to his outside. I don't think Stouffer has been to the inside of a single car in this race, and Stouffer will almost make the pass, doesn't quite get it done. But Stouffer runs along 6th or 7th, depending on where he and Hobson are. He finally gets the job done, but there goes Stouffer. Larry Yingling is 8th. He is under fire from Brian Greenlee in 9th. And in 10th spot, the points leader, Ryan Kelly, along in 11th spot. Good run for him. Wayne Campbell is 12th. 13th, the Dark Horse King, Eric Peterson. 14th, another Dark Horse driver in Jeff Hysong. Jim Herrick, who slapped the wall earlier, spun the car down through the infield. He got his fast repair, Andrew. He's soldiering along in 15th, still on the lead lap. Kurt Rose led some laps earlier. Got to hit the pace car. He is 16th. Richie Hearn has had a very quiet night. He is 17th. Gael Brooks is 18th, and there's Gael. 19th, Joseph Morales. There he is. Bill Burrell is 20th. Frank Irwin Jr. is the only other car still circulating. Frank is 5 laps down. Everybody else is on the lead lap. Nicholas Stockner, Charles Teed, Bill Colley, and I almost said Jerry Forsyth. Craig Forsyth sits on the pit lane, 105 laps in arrears. He's still in the car, but he is admitting. He has not retired from the event. So that's your full field rundown, Andrew. So when do you blink? Do you stay out as long as possible, hoping for a yellow light, or when do you stop here?
I think you stay out as long as you possibly can. A lot of these drivers might consider a fuel-only visit to pit lane, which could spell trouble when you're trying to exit and you understand that your tires are a little bit worn, but you will save quite a bit of time on the pit lane entry exit. So I think that some of these drivers may consider fuel only, or the tires may be so worn getting down in that 20% range that it's saying, hey, we got to take new tires regardless here. So Kentucky is one of those circuits where tires do mean something. So I don't know about that. I'm not really sure if the fuel only is going to work, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone really gives it a try.
I'm gonna say this. If it's me, I am hitting pit road right now. I'm going to come to pit road right now. This lap, I'm pitting in. And the reason is we've seen tires, Andrew, be worth something like a second a lap. So even if I change them and take an extra 3 seconds on the pit lane, I'm going to get that back in 3 laps. And then everything else is just a bonus. The other bit is you're only going to take about half a tank. And this car is an absolute rocket ship as we watch Brian Greenlee work to the outside of A.J. Hobson. And Greenlee's going to get it done on Hobson. And now Ryan Kelly's going to move to the outside. It's going to turn the car into an absolute rocket. You're not going to have to worry about tire wear as much because the fuel is only half as much. And fuel has weight, and that wears the tires. The alcohol fuel that they use in these cars is what, 4 pounds a gallon, something like that?
It's too nerdy for me, Murph. I'm sorry. I'm going to lean on you for that one.
It's heavy. It's heavy. It's about twice as heavy as gasoline. So I believe it's 4 pounds for a gallon. But if you're taking 9 gallons instead of 13 and a half, which would be the limit here, that's 28 pounds. That's what, 16 or 20 pounds worth of fuel your car doesn't have.
I'm sitting here a little bit worried at this pack from P6 to P11 here. They're running very, very close to one another. I think last lap, A.J. Hobson got a little bit close there to Brian Greenlee on turn 4. Greenlee, he comes very close to Chris Stouffer's rear wing there. So these guys may be the next caution. And if I see cars like that, I am not pitting. So you would be down pit lane already coming out, hoping to not see a caution. But we might see the best chance for a caution with this group of cars right here.
Well, yeah, but if I'm like Larry Yingling, for example, and I know I got a fast car, the time to take advantage of that would be now. Nobody as yet has made it to the pit lane. They are working lap 31 of their current run. The furthest we've seen anybody go is Kyle Clinworth, who came to pit road to complete his 45th lap. It would take 46 to make it all the way.
Yes, and we saw that Clemworth was one of the guys who was saving fuel early on in the race, so definitely is not going to be a 45-lap stint this time around. So I imagine by lap 120 or 121, that's when we're going to start seeing the takers down pit lane. And we saw what happened to Clemworth the last time he pitted. He got a little bit squirrely on the pit entry, so I imagine that we're already getting a little bit anxious of what the pit entries are going to be like come the next 6 laps or so.
Well, and let's talk about why it's that way. Most of these drivers that are veterans, and certainly you would consider Coker, Clinworth, Mason Mitchum, Matt Wagner, those are all veteran drivers in this car. We all have our, we've done these races at these tracks so many times, Andrew, that we have our, we know where we should be braking for pit lane. Well, with the addition of the hybrid, that's 50 pounds in the back, and it's off the back of the rear axle. And so it changes the weight distribution of the car. The brake bias is different. So all of our notebooks on brake bias and where we brake for pit lane are a little bit different. And the other part is that the hybrid system, as it charges, is mechanical drag. And if it's overcharged, it can lock the rear tires up under braking right as you slow down into the pit road. And so you want to make sure one of the things you do is you discharge the battery as you come in. Kyle Clinworth just pulled over and let Mason Mitchum go. So that was a battle for second, and that tells me the calculator's running in Clindy's head, and he thinks he might be able to make it.
I don't see it happening. We'll have to see what happens here, but I would imagine by 125, everyone's going to be down pit lane, but we'll have to see how it goes. If they're able to save the fuel, if they're running, it seems like the lap times are indicative of running a full mixture right now, but it is possible that they'd have to go 50 or 47 laps, I believe.
I mean, is he,
since the last caution.
Is he pulling the Rob Maleska, the Alex Van de Zandt trick, running along in 4th gear in map 8? Who knows? He's going to get past, there goes Matt Wagner, but Clindy has slowed way down. He threw the boat anchor out, and he is some half a second off the pace. So that tells me he's trying to do something, Andrew.
No, you're absolutely right, and there could be a little bit of strategy here that perhaps we don't quite know what the fuel voodoo is going on there. So we'll have to see. It's all our questions will be answered in about 8 laps.
That's
Lee
exact.
Coker is going to be diving in next lap.
Yeah, that's one of the. That's we knew that Shane Coker. There's no way he's going to make it. He chose to get out and stand on it. He got the TV time. He got some laps led, and good for Shane Coker. But the party's over. He's going to have to pit. Now, does Coker take tires, or does he not? We're going to monitor that situation because here comes Shane Coker. He is the first car to hit the pit lane.
Another driver who's thrown out that anchor, like you were talking about, is Chris Stouffer. Chris Stouffer, I don't know if it's the tires or if he's decided to let a bunch of cars go, but now he is outside the top 10.
Not only that, he is a full second off the pace. Clinworth, not that horrifically slow, but Chris Stouffer is champion balloon footing around. Shane Coker takes tires and is back on the speedway, and so we'll see if that does him any good. 6 laps to go now. Clindy has let Wagner and Cosner go back by, and these cars have slowed way down now, nearly 27 seconds on that last time through for Wagner, Cosner, and Clinworth.
You're mentioning Mitchum. Now Mitchum is back behind Clendy again, so he has gotten out of 4th place. Wagner is now the car that is punching the air and using the most fuel this pack here, but yeah, I think Clenworth is just hoping that these drivers just continue to go slow and allow them to save the fuel necessary. I believe I heard over the radio that Bill Burrell is a taker down pit lane, so he's going to be coming down next lap.
Well, and if you're Clindy, you don't necessarily even have to make it the entire last lap. You're going to have even if Shane Coker charging through the field, sabers drawn, he's about a second and a half a lap quicker than these front runners right now. He's not even going to Coker's not even going to be able to unlap himself by the time we get to the white flag. So if you're Clindy and it sputters and coughs coming out of turn 1, just step on the clutch and coast around. You can still win the race.
Clutch and coast, baby. We've seen that happen before in the IndyCar series.
Haha. Alexander Rossi very famously clutched and coasted, for 25 miles around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, won the 100th Indianapolis 500 doing it. Sam Cosner is your leader. We've got 2 laps to go here in Kentucky, and it's show and tell time. Who's got enough fuel and who is going to run out? Right now, it's Cosner, then Clinworth, then Wagner, Mitchum, and Kelly as we get down time to talk turkey. The white flag is going to come out this next time by for Sam Cosner.
Ooh, Clemworth got very, very tight down there in turn 3 and 4, and he might lose a spot coming to the white flag here. But I have to say it's remarkable that these drivers were able to break that group up so much and still save fuel at the same time. I'm shocked that they're able to do the 47 laps here.
Could it be another maiden winner in the Area 51 IndyCar
Wagner's
Series?
Out.
Matt Wagner runs out of gas. We're going to keep it at the lead. Is Cosner got enough in the tank to outlast Kyle Clinworth? They come to the line. Sam Cosner is going to be your winner here in Area 51 at Kentucky. Kyle Clinworth is second, and it's an all-Votive Racing League sponsored front row. The VRL team first and third. Kyle Clinworth is going to come home second. And how many cars do we have limping across the line? There they all are. So.
Well, there was a big accident crossing the line between Jim Herrick coming through. I think Kyle Brooks. Some car got some air as well. Mark Murphy style there. I think that might have been High Song.
Well, let's see. There goes Herrick, and you see him being passed by the Votive Racing League entry of Shane Coker. Of course, Coker is on new tires, and Herrick is out of fuel. There goes Yingling. He's got Guile Brooks and Jeff Hysong behind him. He gets down on the apron. There's contact between Brooks and Hysong, and that sends Guile Brooks to the apron. He makes contact with Jim Herrick, and Hysong was already out of control, and that's the car you see going on his lid I don't want to say Mark Murphy style. How about Dario Franchitti style?
Yeah, that's not quite the Mark Murphy airtime that we're used to seeing. I'll give you the Dario Franchitti comparison on that one.
Well, it was Dario Franchitti that did that very same flip here at Kentucky. I believe it was like 2000, what, 8 maybe? Anyway, enough of that and my faulty memory. It's going to be Sam Cosner. It's his first win in the Area 51 IndyCar Series. He'll take the win over one of the community's brightest stars. Kyle Clinworth will be second. In third and rounding out your podium, Mason Mitchum, Ryan Kelly fourth, Gary Lovern will round out the top 5. Gary Lovern has quietly, Andrew, been putting together a really, really good season here in Area 51. AJ Hobson is 6th, Wayne Campbell 7th, Brian Greenlee, Eric Peterson, and Matt Wagner. Wags ran out of gas, gave up the podium. He'll finish in 10th. 11th, Larry Yingling. 12th is Jim Herrick. Guile Brooks, 13th. Jeff Heisong, 14th. And Kurt Rose, he hits the pace car and he finishes 15th. Chris Stouffer, out of gas. He will run 16th. Richie Hearn, 17th. They are the final cars on the lead lap. Shane Coker, he led late, ran short of fuel. He'll be credited with 18th. Joseph Morales, 19th. 2 laps in arrears. And Bill Burrell will come home 3 laps down in 20th. And 21st, it's Frank Irwin Jr., 22nd, Nicholas Stockner, Charles Teed, 23rd, Bill Colley, 24th, and Craig Forsyth with the faulty wheel and pedals. He's going to come home in 24th and last spot. Well, Andrew, how about we talk to some drivers when they get here? We don't have a single one of the podium in the waiting room. They're all on Earth.
Gee, I would hope so.
All right. Here we go. How about Mason Mitchum? Mace, you've got Murph and you've got Andrew Wood in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
You know, we're not doing too awful bad. You and Clindy started. You took the worst to first challenge. You guys also were the only cars that had it stretched into making it a 2-stop race. I gotta ask, how much pounding of the steering wheel happened when that caution came out in the middle of the second stint to nullify all the
Yes.
hard work you did?
I was grumpy. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "Dang it! We were gonna pretty much like run away with this thing and not have to worry about anything else. That was gonna be amazing." But when it came out, just gotta change your mentality, right? Just all right. We're in a different race now. Let's go in there and figure it out.
Yeah. So, what was the deal with fuel mixtures? Did you pick one fuel mixture and sit with it for that first stint to do the 44 laps, or were you playing around back and forth, a little bit fast, a little bit slow, a little bit of tire save, or was it just plug and play basically?
Well, kind of knew going in it was going to be a tire burner mixed with, if you do make it into a 2-stop, that was going to be the play. So I kind of knew naturally if I just put it in map 5, a lot of people aren't going to be in map 5 anyways, so they're going to be burning their tires off, and then I'll just naturally pass them no matter what. And that's kind of what happened on a lot of the people out there, I kind of think. But I think if that would have stayed green, it wouldn't have mattered what they did either way, because I think map 5 was the right play for most of the racing traffic. You can just save your tires so good rolling through 3 and 4. Like I pretty much didn't even use the gas during 3 and 4 at least half the race. Like I would just kind of lift, let it carry me around, get on my hybrid, get back on it on the straightaway. Okay, cool. I saved my tires, right? And then I can keep going fast. Keep those tire temperatures in the yellow. As I did notice that if you kind of hammed on it, especially in a higher mixture, you're going to turn them red. Once you're red, you're dead, right? And if you don't know that, now you know. If you ever see your tires red, you're in trouble. So
Thank
that's how I
you.
look at it.
I need to know that.
I told Andrew earlier in the broadcast we were going over what all the stuff on the steering wheel means for the fans when it got pretty strung out, and I said clear means you're okay, yellow means they're hot, and red means they're mad. So
Exactly.
that was the Murphy scale of tires. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping in, Mason. Congratulations on the podium. It's going to be a great day for you in the points. With that said, you know the drill, my friend. You've been up here enough. You get on the podium, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah.
You've earned it.
So, I like always, Votive Racing, Shane put together a good team. I mean, look at Sam out there winning the race. That's a big deal, right? His first league win. Beautiful to see. He executed a really good fuel save at the end whenever I kind of feel like I got a little too greedy, thinking, I'm gonna bite off a little bit more of this apple than I should. And then I had to save it more at the end, and it kind of bit me. But you know what? I'm glad that he won. Glad that Clindy got second. We're all working together. So let's not forget Shane, who was carrying us around the track at his detriment. He was hoping for a caution so he could be the first one in the pits and have a really good chance at the end. So, Votive, all the VRL cars did great. Gary, he got fifth. So we're doing fine, right? Like everyone's doing great over here at Votive. We're trying to become the best team we can. We're all working together, putting our heads together. We want to get good. We want to get fast. We're halfway there, I hope, in one of those. And other than that, thank my friends and family who watch these races. Going into doing these sim racing, I don't think I've really told many people about this. But slowly over time, they're, hey, what is this that you're doing? Oh, hey, I'm racing online. Now they watch the races. So they're getting into it. They're having fun. It's pretty cool. But other than that, P1 Broadcasting, you guys do a great job. I love watching the races back. This will be a fun one to go back and watch. I did pretty okay. So other than that, that's all I got. I hope you have a great rest of the day, everybody, and I will talk to you later.
Absolutely, Mason. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Sure.
We're going to go ahead and get Mason Mitchum back to, well, he's already gone. How about that? Mason Mitchum is your third place finisher. For second, we've got a man doing his second interview of the day. Clindy, you've got Andrew Wood, you've got Mark Murphy in the P1 broadcasting booth. Kind of bit by the first yellow, and the same thing we asked Mason about. What was your philosophy though on that last run? Were you in fuel save mode the entire time, or was it go fast, and then when you realized it was going to be it was likely going to stay green, you hit the panic button, had to reset and save a whole bunch?
No, I was saving the whole time, and I had saved a lot when they were 2x2 for the lead, Wagner and Yingling and them. So I thought I could be a little more aggressive on the number. And Shane was like, I'm tired of being back here. I want to get to the front. Everyone else is saving. If we get a yellow, I'm going to win. So, all right, man, you do that. And he busts out in front of me, and I start hitting like similar numbers to what I hit on the first run where we went 45 laps. I'm like, I should be pretty close. I had my man in the sky, Seb, run a couple numbers for me, and I think maybe we switched a digit somewhere on one of those because he said I needed a 460 to make it to the end. And I'm like, instead of like the 480s and the 490s I had been hitting, turns out I needed to hit those 480s and 490s the whole time. So when Shane pit, Mason and I really backed off and started hitting numbers to try to make it to the end because I heard him say he bit off too much of the apple. That's exactly right. We we're champing at the bit a little too hard. It, sipped a little too much fuel and had to back it down there at the end. But we were in great position if we did get a yellow, and we both got across the line. So Sam just hit the right numbers the whole time, and that's what you needed to do. So
Bring us through that green flag pit stop you had, because you had another squirrely moment entering the pits there and lost the rear. And I was mentioning that you had the same issue at Homestead. And talk a little bit more about, was that a hybrid problem? Was that just maybe pushing the pit entry a little too much, or just a natural kind of mistake there on your part?
I tried a pit entry in practice after I had run all 13 gallons out of the tank, but that was mostly clean air. I wasn't really racing anyone. The tires were just way, way worse for wear, and I only backed it down maybe 2% more than my practice attempt. And when I transferred from the banking, the car was like, no, you're going to die now. And I'm like, oh, no, please, anything but that. And so I just did what I could to keep it out of the wall. And I lost a bunch of time to Mason, but I kept it alive and out of the wall, and off we went to continue and soldier on, try to make another fuel save. So I'm actually kind of glad that first yellow came out, because I think saving 45 every run was going to be miserable. It's just, I was lifting halfway down the back straightaway to get through 3 and 4, and just, I don't know, I didn't feel like I was racing anybody. I was doing a strategy thing, which is fine. It just, I really liked that run after that yellow, where I was mixing up with everybody and charging through the field. That was prime racing. I loved this temperature. I loved the setup. I think the race length was just a little wonky because it incentivized that save rather than actually racing.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, you're very, very, very good at either going fast or saving gas, and I can personally vouch for Seb Alexander being pretty cool under pressure on that pit box. So good to have him along. You know the drill, man. You've already done this once today. Go ahead and shout him out, Clindy. You've got the mic.
Yeah, my mom's in the chat again. That's how dedicated a fan she is. She watched both broadcasts tonight. I'm sorry I couldn't win twice, Mom, but Sam deserves it. Think the world of that whole votive team, so I'm glad to share the podium with him and Mason, and to have Shane tug us along like he did to break the wind and let us save fuel was pretty cool. Obviously, we'll be racing in the Votive Racing League on Sunday night at Michigan. Tune in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Anyone who's watching, that'll be a really fun race. It should be really packed. We're doing everything you do, and the P1 channel's got broadcast basically every night of the week. So thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing our videos, our content. And at advanced.gg, you can check out with my promo code ClendySendy to get 10% off your order, and a little bit of that comes back to me. So if you could do that, I'd be really appreciative. But other than that, thanks, Murph, so much for having me in the booth. And you got a winner to interview. I think he's still on Planet Earth or one of those channels, but you'll get him down here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so we do it a little bit different. So the Area 51 deal, just so you know, it's a little bit different in that they move you to a quiet room before your interview to avoid the conversation from the from
spilling over. Sure.
Yeah, from the Parc Fermé room spilling over, which I kind of like.
I'm sure he's having a blast in there.
I actually kind of liked it as a driver because it saved me from saying some things I probably shouldn't have, because I got to sit there alone for a couple of minutes before I shot my mouth off. So we appreciate you stopping in. Keep going fast, having fun, Clindy, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, Murph. Thanks, Wood.
Yes, sir. That is Kyle Clinworth. He is your second place finisher today, but the man of the hour is Sam Cosner. Sam, you've got Murph and you've got Andrew Wood in the P1 broadcasting booth. If my memory is correct, this is your first broadcasted win, is it not?
Yes, sir, it is. This is actually my first league win in all of iRacing right here tonight.
Well, congratulations for it. You got the drop on Clindy, one of the best in the business, and you were able to go sooner. Was it a matter of you started saving fuel sooner and you were able to save more of it that let you do that? Did you have a lap in mind? You were going to say, look, I can go full tilt with X amount of laps to go?
Not really. I was kind of just waiting on the moment where I felt pretty solid that I could go and get across the line. And even then, when I did go, I think there was 2 to go, 3 to go. I was very iffy on whether or not I was going to actually hit the number. I think the only reason I hit the number in the first place was I had Shane out in front breaking the wind, and then Clindy, Wags, and Mason in front of me. I just kind of rode behind those guys, trying to really manage the tire temperature and hit it as far above my number every time as I could. And next thing I knew, I kept hearing, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it, and decided to go and make my move, and it all panned out.
Yeah, talk to the audience, Sam. Congrats, by the way, on getting your first one. You've been knocking on the door for over a season now, which is great to see, and it's always nice to see some new names up here. But talk to the audience with just random people that you're not able to communicate with. It does make it very difficult to try and maneuver yourselves in such a way that you can help each other save fuel. But in this case, you were able to work with teammates that were able to kind of switch it up and play musical chairs a little bit out front. So talk about how your teammates helped you in the situation and how easy or difficult it is.
Oh, it's an absolute game changer. It takes it from being, in my opinion, one of the most difficult parts of IndyCar racing and turns it into a basic cakewalk. I'm lucky enough to have a very solid set of teammates and a good alliance with the TMR guys between TMR and Votive, where they just kind of gave me the number, and all I had to do was hit my marks, hit the number, listen to them, and do as I was told. I come from the stock car side, so all this is pretty new to me. If it hadn't been for them, I would have ran myself out of fuel way, way earlier. You also kind of got to consider when you're racing with randoms or racing on your own without a team, you're not only managing that fuel number, but your tire temperatures, your weight jacker, your hybrid, making sure you hit your marks. It's an absolute game changer, and I'm very, very blessed to be on the team that I'm on.
Teammates can make all the difference in the world. That's something that Andrew and I both know very well. And Andrew Wood also knows the feeling of winning in this series, and so you get to join ranks with some pretty storied drivers that have won here. If you go back and look at the history of the series, it reads like a who's who when it comes to the IndyCar community. And so, congratulations on joining what's a pretty prestigious list. With that said, friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. When you win here on P1, you get the mic. Go ahead,
sir.
Sam.
Like I said, I couldn't have done this without Team Votive and the TMR Votive Alliance. Major shout out to those guys. Leverance Contracting for being on the car. Of course, VRL on the car. You guys here at P1 putting this on and being on the car on top of that. Very, very appreciative of that. Got a lot of friends that like to tune in here. Dylan, Jacob, Ashton. I really appreciate you guys and all the support. Like I said, I've been knocking on the door here for a long time now. Only running part-time makes it pretty difficult, and it's a very, very special feeling to not only join that list, that very prestigious list here at my home track, but in the 20th season of Area 51 as well. It's very special. We're going to soak this one up and remember this one for a very long time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for stopping in, Sam. Congratulations on your maiden win. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys. Yep, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is Sam Cosner. He is your winner tonight, and it's always we've had two new winners races, right?
Yes, you are correct, Murph. Yeah, and I mean it's definitely really great to see some new names. You know, we're used to seeing the Mark Murphy show or the
Andrew Wood show
or something. Yes, I mean I'm talking about recent seasons, recent past. It's great to see some new names show up here and guys like Sam, like I mentioned when I was talking, that have been knocking on the door and been running the top three a lot of these races, and then just something goes wrong, get caught up in an incident or tap a wall somewhere or lose some speed. So it's always really, really good to see that kind of stuff. So I hope it continues for sure.
It is indeed. Do want to let you know the points have been updated. Kyle Clinworth, by virtue of his second place finish, 5 starts, 4 top 5s, 1 win, 195 points. Ryan Kelly will drop to second with 190, and they are well clear of Craig Forsyth and Larry Yingling, who are tied for third on 135. Gary Lovern is fifth in the points with 130. Matt Wagner, Mason Mitchum, AJ Hobson, Kurt Rose, and Jeff Heisong round out your top 10 in the points. For Area 51, we will be back next week. Same time, same bad channel, same bad commentary. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Nashville. As for P1, we are off tomorrow. Normally, you would see either the Horizon Racing League at 8 or the Formula Super Series at 8:20. Both of those series are off this week, but you can check them out next week if you like. Thursday night, it is the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Friday, the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Both of those are at 8:20 Eastern pre-race, 8:35 on the race starts. No race Saturday. Andrew Wood and I are going to discuss our private bet for the iRacing IndyCar Series. You'll see all those races at 2 o'clock on Saturdays once that starts. On Sunday, it's the Votive Indy Oval Series at 8 o'clock from Michigan right here on P1. Sunday, The IndyCar Monday night top split will be at Sebring at 7, followed immediately thereafter at 9 by the Indy Next Road Series, and they're going to be at Mexico City, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Next Tuesday, bring it right back here. It's the IndyCar Oval Series top split live from Michigan, 7:15. I think I might race that one, Andrew. You want to join me? I think you should.
I'm sorry. What race is that?
It's the IndyCar Oval Tuesday night Oval top split next week. It is at Michigan, 7:15. That'll be fun. I think you should join in. I think I'm going to run that. Indy Next Oval Series top split is at Richmond, 8:30, and then that brings us right back here for the Area 51 IndyCar Series at Nashville, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, right here on P1. Do want to thank all of the drivers for joining in, the participants, the fans in the stands. You were all awesome. Thank you for the chats. Keep those coming. If you haven't already done it, make sure you like the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts that we do, and we do a lot of them. But we really want to thank the people that really make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance. And Andrew, we got to thank the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we love you all so long. Have a great night, and we will see you next week at 9:30.
Strap in, feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 4D, 4D. It's different. Yeah.